Hello to all the geek enthusiasts and nerd aficionados. Mess 5150 with Malice Corp, and we're here for our season finale. Thank you so much for coming and joining us. This is amazing. Our inaugural season. We've met some great people on Twitter, here on YouTube, on Facebook, all over the place. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being those that have watched throughout this year's season and coming back for our season finale. We're going to be going on hiatus for a few weeks. We'll be back January 5th for our next episode in 2018. But for today, we're going to talk some nerd news. We're going to talk about our final Nerd Fight poll results, and we're going to crown our final nerd icon for 2017. So we have a fun little game with the nerd icon. So make sure you guys tune in for that and chime off in the chat room about favorite moments from this season or anything that you want to talk about that we're talking about as well. We welcome you. But that's me. I'm Mess5150. I also have my co-host that has been majority of host this year as I've missed a good amount of, of casts. We got Beacon. Beacon, what have you been up to? What you've been nerding out on?
What up, everybody? I've been nerding out on, I'm the binger of all binging. It's Beacon. The B and Beacon stands for binging. I've been watching Walking Dead, kind of trying to catch up with all these other cats over here. So I'm up to season 4, episode 2. It's quite a bit of dead things all in a short amount of time. Yep.
Governor season?
After. Yeah, just finished the Governor's. Just got out of the prison.
Terminus.
Yeah, so it's fun. I finished an audiobook today, that Star Wars perspective one I was telling you guys about with all the short stories. Freaking awesome. Really, really cool. Just started a new book today, so all my Audible friends can go to our website and click on Audible, get some free books. I just started Ready Player One today, so
ooh, great book.
I'll let you guys know how that goes.
That is maybe my favorite book of the last 5 years.
I mean, the only negative, and I'm not a Will Wheaton hater, but he reads it, and so his voice isn't always
like shut up, Wesley.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that tweet where he was like, if somebody tells me to shut up, Wesley, I'm not going to talk to him anymore.
Yeah, and then Patrick Stewart did.
That's fantastic. I did not know that. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. Just watching TV shows, catching up, and listening to audiobooks.
The binger of bingers. Yes. We also have joining us Icy Zorro. What have you been geeking out on? And you guys in the chat room, Ken, thank you so much for coming to the chat room. Let us know what you've been geeking out on lately as well.
Eric, welcome as well. Shut up, Wesley. Let's see. I have been reading a lot. I finished like another 2 books in the In-Depth series that Super recommended for me. Played probably another 15 or so hours of Assassin's Creed Origins. I know our producer Jack Malice called out what the finish times are supposed to be in the last cast, but I'm like completionist to the max. So I explore every little nook and cranny. I probably got 25, maybe 30 hours on this game, and I'm like a third of the way through. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And what else? Yeah, still playing that Futurama mobile game. It's quite fun. I
started the new Slurm thing.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm been playing that too.
It's addictive, and like I said, way too easy to spend money. So don't.
That's microtransactions. They know how to work it.
Yeah.
So, and in the chat room we have, before we get to our female persuasion, we have Eric, Ken, and Marley Ba. Welcome all 3 of you. Ken said watching Superfans OG with his son. So, OG cartoons, which we had a nice conversation about that the other day. But Super, welcome to the show. What have you been geeking out on and nerding out on?
I finally caught up on this season's worth of Modern Family. Ah, damn. That show should be ridiculous at this point, but it's not. And I keep watching for Phil Dunphy. Because the man, Ty Burrell is classic, and he never gets old. Him and Jesse Tyler Ferguson, they make that show.
Yeah, absolutely. I love Ty Burrell on that show. And also Robert in the chat. welcome. And he said he's not been up to anything lately. Different wording, but
way to church it up.
we cleaned it up for you guys. Me, myself, we're talking about mobile games. There was a new mobile game that I have been waiting for to come out. It officially released, US release today. It is South Park.
Phone Destroyer.
Phone Destroyer. It is fantastic. If you
haven't gotten it yet.
Love the South Park games, if you love Stick of Truth and Fractured But Whole, this is just on par with them. So, and every once in a while, like Cartman will call you in the middle of the game, and then you get like this video chat of him talking to you. You are the new kid again. And they talk about how this new kid is always on his phone, never gets off of it, so he can dominate everybody in this game. And that's what your role is in it. And you start out playing Cowboys and Indians, and they have some fantastic costumes. You have one scene where Stan's dad is is dressed up as Pocahontas.
Randy Martin. God, I love that character.
And they have a chat on there, like a phone chat that's going on constantly throughout the game. And Stan's dad joins it. And he's like, "This is a cool way to hang out with the kids." And then Stan leaves the chat, and then he'll come back and he'll be like, "Is my dad still here?" And he's like, "Hey, Stan." He's like, "Stop talking, Dad." So it's a great game. So definitely download it on the Google Play Store.
And it has been added.
It is so fantastic. So the guild that I'm part of on there, I'll find that for you guys if you guys want to join me in that guild, and I'll let you know. Yeah, so the same guild that I'm part of for the
there's not like different realms or different versions. Like if okay.
It is a mixture of, it's a card game. It's a card battle game. You're building your deck. You're battling against each other. The great thing on it is live battles. So you are playing against somebody else live at the same time. A lot of these battle games, you're just playing against a computer, but PvP is, they're looking for somebody else that's playing at the same time, and you're playing against each other. And
so like
the storyline is great. Yeah. The story's great. It's very much Clash Royale. Yeah.
So, Clash Royale. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah. So, yeah, so that's what we've all been nerding out on. So getting right into the actual season finale, we're going to talk about some nerd news. Like I said, we're going to go into our nerd icon, our final nerd icon for the year. It is between Chris Hardwick, Ridley Scott, and Bill Nye. We threw up a poll on Twitter where we got our results because us sitting here couldn't decide. Because all three are great people to choose from for the nerd icon.
There was some lovely chat discussion about this one.
Yeah.
Hey, I see. Way to church it up there.
I don't think we've been this polarized since Nudie Rudy and Beacon went at both sides of the Orville.
Yeah, and I won.
Ken Johnson said he's also playing the South Park Phone Destroyer.
Actually, I think Orville won since it got renewed for a second season.
Well, that's because
surprisingly, yeah,
because there's been less Seth, and that makes the show better.
Yeah, Ken Johnson brings up one of the characters that pops up in Phone Destroyer, in Inuit Kenny, which is great.
Nice.
And Robert says, "I just can't bring myself to play games on my phone."
What do you do with all your free time?
So, yeah.
Useful things in the real world.
Maybe he doesn't have free time.
He watches us on YouTube. Come on, guys.
Yeah,
they're not.
And keep doing that. Come back and keep watching us. Tell your friends. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Come back and watch us more. So let's get into the nerd news. Two major stories that happened this week. The first one that was earlier in the week was that Fox has had on-again, off-again talks with Disney about selling a majority portion of their company, basically everything but their news, their television network, and I blanked on the other one, but their whole movie side that they were going to sell. So they were just going to streamline down. The implications of this, if it were to happen, means that Disney would own the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. So we would get X-Men back into the Marvel Universe. We would get Fantastic Four possibly done right. We would get Deadpool in the Marvel Universe.
Stop teasing me.
Yeah, exactly. So this is like
if you get Deadpool in the Marvel universe, then there's a chance that you get Wolverine back with Deadpool in the Marvel universe.
That's the big thing. So Hugh Jackman said the only way he would come back and play Wolverine would be if he was on the same screen with the Avengers. And so at this point in time, I want to know your guys' thoughts. It's almost Fox can do what they did with all the other X-Men and recast Wolverine, but I would think it's almost sacrilege at this point right now to cast anybody else in that role. Because
absolutely, especially if they're going to do a crossover with Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, that'd be the second movie with them as those same characters. But they could do it right this time.
Yeah. Instead
of Deadpool having stupid long swords coming out of his arm, how would he bend his elbows? Come on.
Yeah. But that's where I want to get your guys' thoughts on it. If this were to come to fruition, there is an article on the Malice Corp site. So right there, down, you see it written, malice-corp.com. If you don't know how to spell it into your browser, down in the description below, there's a link to the website. Go and click on that if you want to see any of this stuff. But there is an article about kind of what the implications would be for the Marvel Universe in terms of cinematic-wise if this came about. I posed a question on the article, and I want to get your guys' thoughts. I want to know what you think would happen. What scenes could you see end up happening with Deadpool in a Marvel movie? Because that's where I think the funnest thing could happen. I threw stupid stuff out there as if like taking Doctor Strange's cape and playing bullfighter with the Hulk.
I could see that.
So what would you like to see happen had Deadpool gotten into this current crop of Marvel Cinematic Universe Beacon?
I mean, we've already talked about it already. I mean, I want to see Wolverine and Deadpool together. Like, how freaking cool would that be? And you got X-23. You can move X-23 right into that as well. And how phenomenal to have that young actress like mixing it up with like a Spider-Man, like, you know, and or even a Tony Stark, and kind of get that sassiness going. Sky's the limit when you can get those two worlds in together. So
Robert says, my mama said Disney is the devil.
Yeah.
In the chat.
My mama.
And then the response,
the devil, mama.
The response in the chat is, okay, the swords in Deadpool bother you, but the claws on Wolverine are okay. Ken says
they only go into his forearm. The swords were longer than the entire arm. When he retracts the claws, they're all right in here.
Beth thinks they would be giving away money and screw the fans. And then Marley Bra says, I want a Deadpool movie where he's essentially coming up with the harebrained schemes to get Spider-Man to team up with him. So
I just want to see Deadpool meet Cap and try to get along with him. That would be or watch Cap try to get along with him.
Well, exactly. Let's okay, so you have the Avengers film and Captain America talks about language. Could you imagine him coming up to
Could
Deadpool?
you imagine how drunk you would be if you had a drinking game where every time Cap said language to Deadpool, you'd have to take a shot?
That's one big swear jar.
Yep.
It says halfway through you see Spider-Man call him out on it, and the hired actors go home just for the real threat to come out of the shadows. I saw a tweet because Ryan Reynolds put out like, what would Disney do to Deadpool? And one of the responses on it was Deadpool would be the only character that could actually transfer over to the MCU and talk about how he transferred from one studio to another. To another.
Yeah.
Which would be great.
Oh, he just walk down the street. Like, yeah.
So, anything that you would love to see Deadpool do, Zorro?
I've just been running through a list of mainly the Avengers characters in my head and trying to figure out how he would react to them. Like, what's he going to do when Ant-Man shrinks all of a sudden? Got to be some good lines coming out of there. I want to see him try on the Iron Man helmet over his own mask. I think that would be hilarious. Yeah, there'd be so much fun.
Oh, there's so much great stuff.
Just a little side scene of him meeting Pepper Potts.
There's so much great stuff in the chat room. We got Deadpool's hired by Loki to piss off Thor. Deadpool swear jar is the funding for S.H.I.E.L.D.
And then just randomly, for some reason, he's able to pick up Thor's hammer.
That would be funny.
So, I would love to see it happen. Unfortunately, the powers that be said that if this did come about, because of how big of a majority Disney would have for the movie industry, it would probably get blocked and as a monopoly. So, I think we lost Beacon. He might be back. He looks like he's just staring in amazement. We got another one. Deadpool trying to get on Snow White and offering chimichangas to Ariel.
Being part of the Disney universe, yeah.
That would be funny.
Yeah. So, there's his logo picture of him dressed up as Arrow for Beacon. He'll be back, guys. Our other story, nerd news story that happened, broke basically earlier today, and it's the first director in this new line of Star Wars films that hasn't really pissed off anybody, I guess, and gotten fired outside of JJ. Rian Johnson. It was announced that he, on the heels of doing Beacon's internet's being stupid. He'll be back. On the heels of doing The Last Jedi, will actually be doing a brand new trilogy in the Star Wars universe. This will take place on the outskirts of the galaxy, somewhere that's never been explored before within the stories, and entirely new characters.
It'll be so new you won't even know it's Star Wars.
Yeah, who knows? But Kathleen Kennedy came out saying that they have. Let's see where I can get the.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, where she said they were sitting down planning out like the next decade or so.
Yeah, and this was the first thing that came out about that planning out. She said, "We had the time of our lives collaborating with Lucasfilm and Disney on The Last Jedi. Star Wars is this is Johnson saying this. Star Wars is the greatest modern mythology, and we feel very lucky to have contributed to it. We can't wait to continue with the new series of films." Kathleen Kennedy said, "He's a creative force, and watching him craft The Last Jedi from start to finish was one of the great joys in my career." That's a hilarious thing to see the wording from start to finish, because lately in the Star Wars films, we haven't been getting the directors to craft the films from start to finish because they keep replacing everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
And Rian will do amazing things with the blank canvas of this new trilogy. So I just want to get your guys' opinions, if you have any. What do you think, ideas wise, that should go on with this this new trilogy? Ken Johnson says Knights of the Old Republic, but that would be something that's been explored before.
Yes,
it has. Has it been done in movies though?
No.
Yeah, but they're talking about like a part of the universe that we've never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, hell, then I have no idea.
Yeah, that seems just a little broad.
There's characters I would like to see more of.
Yeah,
like,
this is all new characters.
So yeah, I don't know. That's hard to pick. I mean, that's like saying, well, I want to create a character that, you know.
I have an idea that I could see this potentially doing without branching into to being a whole new story type of thing. But Dark Forces, the concept of Dark Forces, a smuggler, a kind of not good guy, not bad guy, but that finds out he has Force powers, but there's no knowledge of the Force whatsoever. So this guy is learning this stuff on his own.
He's just a friggin' magician.
Yeah. And
so you mean like an original Jedi?
Yeah. I think that would be super interesting to have somebody that doesn't know what the Force is. There's no knowledge of what it is whatsoever. No knowledge of the Jedi or anything like that. Learning all this stuff.
That could be fun.
I think that would be a really interesting trilogy to do.
Well, I think that we can kind of assume what the bones of whatever the story is going to be are, because I thought it was funny that quote earlier. Star Wars is the greatest modern mythology. Star Wars is a retread of the oldest mythology. It is the hero's journey. It's friggin' Gilgamesh. Mm-hmm. Low beginnings, learning curve, saving the universe. It's just, you know, it's the same story but writ large over a much bigger landscape.
Yeah.
So I think any trilogy in this universe is going to follow that. I mean, I would think they would follow that same basic, you know, regardless of characters and actual plot. That's the same basic structure.
Well, this might also give the opportunity to follow more of the Rogue One style of storytelling, where it's a little more adult friendly as opposed to kid friendly. That's happened with Star Wars over the years, which might be an interesting kind of spin of things as well to see. Just somebody, like I said, going back to the idea I have, somebody absolutely battling with not knowing what's the dark side and what's the light side, just going, hey, these
can do stuff.
Yeah.
This is cool.
So
bring me a beer. And so there's got to be some sort of connective tissue to the Star Wars universe. Otherwise, it's just other movies with the Star Wars tag on it. You know, I wonder, like, is the design going to be similar? Are we going to see any of the same kind of aliens?
Would there be droids? Would there be ships? Would there be?
Yeah, because otherwise it's just a different movie that they happen to call Star Wars.
I would think it would be something that would maybe tie into as the films go along. If it's a trilogy of films, towards the third film, you start tying into those other parts of the universe, or towards what's going on ahead of time and things like that.
I will kill you, Ken, for that suggestion.
Ken said Jar Jar Binks, a Star Wars story.
We do not need history of the Gungans. Thank you very much. Let's just forget Naboo as a planet even existed. Please, for the love of God.
And then Robert said, talk about the Disney stuff. All you need to know about Disney, you can learn from Epic Rock Battles of History, Jim Henson versus Stan Lee. So that's another YouTube great. So if you guys never check those out, you should definitely check those out. They are funny and hilarious and fantastic. But Beacon's still having issues, so I was waiting for him to come back. But it looks like we're not going to be getting there.
No, I'm all disgruntled thinking about friggin' Naboo. Ugh. That's what I hate about sand. It's irritating and it gets everywhere. Shut up, Anakin.
Okay, moving on from that. That's our nerd stories for this week. The nerd news that was going on. If you want to see any other articles and stories that come out there, definitely check out malice-corp.com, malice-corp.com, whatever you want to say. Super Hoovian had an article come out about the book series that she's been just enamored with, the In Death series, and why you should be reading those books. And we have more book stuff coming from.
Oh yeah, lots of more stuff. Lots of more stuff. We're very Italian.
Such a good
here.
syntax. Actually, something that our producer Jack Malice brought up to me the other night on a different cast, and I think it was on a pre-show chat. If you're a fan of Robert Sanderson at all, he's got the third book of the Stormlight Archives, I believe.
Did you call him Robert Sanderson?
You're Brandon Sanderson. I was thinking Robert Jordan, and then because Sanderson finished it. Get it? Yeah.
Get it. I get it.
Yeah, Brandon Sanderson. Got book 3 of the Stormlight Archives coming out soon, and I'm gonna have to reread the first 2 just to remember what the hell's going on.
Okay, I'm checking in with Beacon.
Robert Sanderson.
We miss him. Okay, so let's before we get into our nerd icon and the game that we're going to be having, and you are getting corrected by Jack Malice in the chat room. So, as well as Ken's letting us know he'll be writing a review on Battlefront 2 beta because he's going to be playing that and getting us his first article. So, welcome new contributor Ken Johnson to the to Malice Corp. He's there in the chat. Nerd fight. The last nerd fight of the season was the best CW premiere episode for this current season of TV shows. And on that note, it was pretty much just between 2 in terms of voting going on. We had.
What's the last time we did that?
Yeah, these same 2 were the ones that were battling out. We had Flash on there, Arrow, Supergirl, Riverdale, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Supernatural. People really didn't like the first episode of Riverdale and Supergirl, which surprising to you, Super Hoovian, Riverdale.
For Riverdale, yeah. Riverdale's got a huge following on Twitter, and yet couldn't just. I don't have any interaction yet with their fans, and but it's better than what this show makes it out to be. I'm not going to comment on Supergirl. There's parts of Supergirl I really like, and there's parts that are just making me bash my head against the wall. But
Like
Riverdale
acting,
is
plot.
much better than what this show. I mean, this show it's ridiculous. Like nothing about this show in my head, outside of it being based on the Archie comics, should make it appealing in any way, shape, or form, and yet you can't stop watching it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It is a good show. I haven't watched any of the second season, but the first season I was pleasantly surprised. So I mean, if it followed suit of the first season, it was better than I thought it was going to be. It's definitely worth checking out.
I just have so many shows I'm already watching.
I know, that's the thing. There's tons and tons of shows to catch up on, and the not enough time in the day. And now all these different streaming services that are getting ready to come out, and
there's so much quality content out there right now. It's ridiculous.
Well, and Hulu's got Runaways getting ready to start soon. Disney's going to have a whole entirely new streaming service themselves coming out next year with new content, new TV shows, and they're already saying that the next crop of Marvel TV shows might not end up on Netflix. That Disney might hold them to create them for just their streaming service. So
that's crap.
That's Disney.
Disney.
If you own it,
that's Disney.
You flaunt it, I guess. The other thing, so the two that got no votes was Supergirl and Riverdale. Arrow got 1 vote, and that doesn't surprise me because once again, Arrow people aren't always high on Arrow when it comes back to start a season. It's not until it gets about midway through the season that people start like, hey, the show's good again and stuff. We talked about this last time, that as somebody that binged the show, I never saw the complaints that everybody else was always saying at the beginning of every season. I mean, did you have that kind of thinking, Beacon, where when you binged it, that you didn't see the?
Yeah, you gotta catch me up, bro.
on Arrow.
I've been resetting routers, bro. I have no idea what's going on right now.
No, we're talking about the nerd fight results.
What's going on right now?
We're talking about the nerd fight results where Arrow only got 1 vote, and I'm not surprised because usually when Arrow comes back at the beginning of any season, it usually gets pretty hammered on at the beginning of the season. Then later in the season, people start picking up on liking the series again. And I didn't find that with binging the show. You binged it as well. So I mean, did you?
Yeah, I binged like the first 4 seasons, I think it was, or 3 or 4 seasons. I mean, well, binging is a whole different experience to begin with. You're getting so much all at once, and there's no layoff. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's always been a little bit of a slow starter. So it seems like every season usually is a little slow to start.
Mm-hmm. The comment on why Supergirl probably didn't get any votes from Ken in the chat room. Fight some supervillains. Who cares about your adoptive sister's relationship? It is Supergirl, not Springer.
First of all, Superman sucks anyway, so anything that has to do with Superman usually sucks. And then
Jack, is that you?
And then to just tap into like, now we're just gonna have this freaking stupid drama, girlfriend boyfriend drama for an hour instead of actual action. Jeez.
For me, the relationship's not what bothered me. That was fine. That was actually pretty well developed and a nice, I don't want to say representation because I hate that word, but it gives the fan base that has, affiliations towards that. It gives them something to root for, which is much appreciated in a, when they don't have a lot of that to root for on camera. But for me, the issue is I miss Cat Grant. I miss the actress whose name is freaking escaping me right now, and that bugs me.
Callista Flockhart, yeah.
Thank you. I miss her on the show. I do not like them putting Lena Luthor in charge of Catco. It doesn't make sense to me at all. She has no media background. She's just there, and that bugs me. Though I do like having the actor that played Nathan Petrelli from Heroes. I like him being in the antagonist role this season because he's just a brilliant actor.
I love
Tired of
listening
seeing
to
that
this
guy.
as somebody that hasn't watched Supergirl and going, Catco? What the? Is that a cat food company?
Yes, exactly.
Pretty much.
It's
It's a
all
media
cat
empire.
news all the time. All they do is air cat videos on YouTube
There you
24/7.
They
My
know
advice
what
is
works.
I will buy into that. Yeah.
Honestly, think of how many viewers we have who is just cats sitting here with headphones on. and
Oh,
meowing.
we totally need to do that.
Mhm.
No, we'll dub our voices in, but just the pictures are cats. Yeah.
Ken Johnson says girlfriend relationships and Beacon. I'm going to Superman punch your router.
That's what I had to do to get on. Hey, yes. Meanwhile, people in the other room somehow are still streaming whatever the hell they're watching. I have no idea how that works, but
Maybe it's Supergirl.
right, yeah.
And the next that we had in the results was Flash had 5 votes.
Okay,
I haven't watched any of this season of Flash, so I don't know how the
5 too
premiere
many.
was.
5 too many.
Coming back. 5 to me. Okay.
I really like Cisco. They're voting for Cisco this season. I'm telling you, Cisco and Harry.
Well, we were
They're-
just talking about the premieres, though, like just the premieres. And yeah, I love Cisco and the premiere,
but
but the rest of
Cisco,
it was terrible.
they're all voting for Cisco. Everyone's voting for Cisco.
I just really
only
like
5.
Riders.
Not everybody. 5 people.
Yeah.
DC's Legends of Tomorrow got 9 votes.
Which
Solid.
It was solid. It had a solid
It was
start.
solid. It was solid. I'm gonna forgive him last episode.
And Jack corresponds with Flash season episode 1 was terrible.
It's garbage.
He voted for DC Legends. And then Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is where you got jumped up. 22 votes for Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Lord.
This season's the first episode came back really strong. And that show has gotten a pretty massive following from
That's
people.
ridiculous.
It is such a great show. It is a hilarious show. So
Is that a half-hour show?
it's an hour
Really? Okay.
with new songs on every single episode, and they're freaking fantastic. And she's been all over the place. She actually got she's going to do a voice on Simpsons. So when you're appearing on Simpsons, you've done something right.
They just ran out of people to appear on their show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
I
I've
think
been on The Simpsons at this point.
And Ken says Legends is solid.
Yep.
So,
I agree.
and then our winner by 8 votes. So surprisingly a lot closer than expected. Supernatural, 30 votes.
Which had a good comeback to the season. I mean, I don't watch the show, but I'm hearing about it, and it seems like it's been pretty damn solid to start the.
There really haven't been any bad episodes yet.
Mm-mm.
Everything's been real solid.
Just maybe a bad scene here, bad scene there,
Wait,
cheesy
has
line there.
Has the Buck Lemons done any writing yet this season?
Yeah, the
Yes.
second episode. And
That's
we almost
what's
forgot it was Bill
surprising.
Lemons.
What?
It
Yeah.
was actually to the point where I actually didn't even realize. I forgot that I was watching a Buck Lemmings episode. I was
Yeah.
like, what?
There was only one attempted rape.
Yeah. And it was so quick. It happened so quick. I actually forgot about it. I was like, oh, yeah, that did happen. That did happen.
Yeah, nobody
Ken
died.
says that when you watch on Hulu Live, the commercial for Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is annoying as all hell. So I haven't seen it, but
Yeah.
yeah. So that was the final nerd fight for the year. Supernatural wins it
One again.
again. Yeah.
Well, no, there's still time to vote, right?
There's still time to vote.
Technically.
Till midnight. So you guys can definitely go vote. The link is in the descriptions below. So if you haven't voted, go in and click on that link and go vote. If you want to vote for your favorite and get it, if it's above Supernatural, go for it. Supernatural knows how to win polls. They just don't know how to get viewers for for TV talks. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, but it's had some.
I'm kidding.
Doing better than the flagship, bro.
That's expected.
I think he's challenging you. I think if Supernatural fans, I think he's challenging you that you should go watch the TV cast show. It's pretty
Absolutely.
awesome.
You should watch
It
it.
is.
And
Absolutely.
you should be there live because the chat was fantastic yesterday. I don't watch the show, but I was watching the chat and it was super fun. So
it was rolling pretty good.
so yeah, definitely check out our other podcasts, our TV talks that we have on the channel. If you guys haven't checked them out before, we're currently doing Walking Dead and Supernatural. And while we're on hiatus here, we'll probably have a CW wrap up at some point. We'll figure out when that'll happen, and potentially a super the Netflix show. I can't. Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. Yeah, we definitely need to have a little Stranger Things conversation at some point.
Super Stranger Things. Yeah, I like it.
Yes, we do.
Super Stranger Things. Yeah, just like Nintendo, Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
The second Stranger Things, Super Stranger Things. That's what they should have titled it if they were going to run with the 80s.
So the next one will be Stranger Things 64.
Exactly. So let's get into our nerd icons. So we, like I said, we're between 3 for this month. We go based off of birthdays in the month because there's so many great nerd icons to choose from. So we whittle it down by that. The 3 choices we had were Bill Nye, Chris Hardwick, and Ridley Scott, all having birthdays this month. So happy birthday to all 3 of you. It was really tough because we all had fan favorites in this. No, not one person was like, it absolutely has to be this person. We didn't come to a concise, everybody agreeing like we have on the other months. So we had to throw it out to Twitter for them to decide on a poll and have them choose who it is. So before we get into who it is, let's talk about why all 3 were in the running. So Ridley Scott is definitely a film icon. He has given us many, many nerd franchises. He originated the Alien franchise. He gave us Blade Runner. He just a lot of different great films that speak volumes to geeks and nerds. Yeah. So it was kind of hard not to put him into the equation because
he created a lot of the films that defined what nerds, modern era nerds became.
Mm-hmm.
And what science fiction became.
Absolutely.
So, and he's still doing it. That's the thing about it is he's gone back to 2 of his biggest franchises. He's gone back to Alien. He's gone back to Blade. Well, he didn't go back to Blade Runner. He helped kind of in the background. He wasn't producing anything like that, but he had to be in the talking. On the front of Chris Hardwick, go for it, Super and Zorro. I know you guys.
Yeah, that would be my personal preference.
I could see why there's some people. I mean, is he getting maybe a little bit overexposed in hosting? Yeah, okay, I could see that. But for just sheer nerd merits, I'll give it to him. And he does make me laugh. He makes me laugh,
And women love guys who make them laugh.
Yeah.
Later in life, that's how he hooked up billionaire heiress.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude is indisputably a nerd, and a lot of times you'll hear people say things like, "Oh, he's not a real nerd, fake nerd, whatever." I don't think he has real nerd cred. The dude was president of the Latin Club. He won statewide chess tournaments as a kid. Yes, exactly.
He lost a girlfriend. I don't know if you guys remember this. He actually lost a girlfriend because she invited him out to Sports Center. They're like, hey, we're going to go hit up the ESPN zone. We're going to watch the game. You want to come with us? And he's like, no, dude. He's like, I'm right in the middle of a heated battle right now. She's like, what's going on? What's going on? And he was playing Dungeons and Dragons. And he sent a picture of the dice. He's like, I'm about to, lightning strike this, And he sent her a picture of the dice. And he's like, you jelly? And then he got a text about 20 minutes later. It said, yeah, I don't see this going anywhere. She dumped him.
Yeah. The man literally has a company called Nerdist Industries. That was before he became super popular, before he became known as Nerdist or whatever. He was a science contributor for Wired. I don't know that.
Good call out from Heather in the chat channel, by the way. He can recite pi to 100 digits. If that's
he has a song about it.
Nerdy.
Yeah, that's pretty nerdy.
And I think it's actually 1,000 if I remember right.
Yeah.
And Ken says all fault on Blade Runner 2049 not bombing at the box office is what he said is because of Ryan Gosling, not because of
sure. But my contention is that Chris Hardwick, as overexposed as he's gotten, and that's fine. I can agree with that. He is one of the reasons that nerd culture started to become popular and move to the forefront as of 9 or 10 years ago. From stuff on G4 to the Nerdist podcast, which he's into the mid 900s now, which is ridiculous. He, just straight up being comfortable as a nerd and proud of being a nerd has become popular, I think, in large part because of him.
Yeah, I agree with it. Yeah, absolutely. And he is the king moderator of San Diego Comic-Con. I mean, he gets put on all the top panels to moderate them, and there's a reason for that. So he knows how to work a crowd, and he's a, despite his faults when he's like moderating, when he moderates, a lot of stuff is talking about himself, but that's because he is such a nerd and such a fan of these things that half the time he's just happy to be a part of it. I mean, he talked about Jurassic Park, wearing a Jurassic Park patch when he was talking to Spielberg, and felt like he was being overdone by other people because it was a Warner Brothers panel and he wasn't supposed to be wearing Jurassic Park, but he's like, I don't care, I'm Spielberg. So our last nominee into it was Bill Nye, which when you think nerd, that's very much the capital N in his last name is the capital N for nerd as well. So he's what many people think of when they think nerd. Yeah, I mean, he brought science to a lot of people. Maybe he's not a specialist on science or anything like that, but his TV personality caused a lot of kids to want to seek out that industry.
He does actually. Yeah, he's got a degree in mechanical engineering. So I mean, smart guy. That's clearly a good thing. But apparently, at some point, he decided he was tired of doing the mechanical engineering stuff and really wanted to get into entertainment education. He wanted to be the new Mr. Wizard, and he kind of succeeded. I mean, he started pretty small in Seattle. And for 5 years, he had Bill Nye the Science Guy on the air. That's where we all got to know him. And, he continues in science education and entertainment, which I think is pretty cool. Although not necessarily, as people have pointed out to me, not necessarily actually a scientist, but definitely a science educator.
Well, he's still used in schools today. I mean, his YouTube channel and his YouTube videos are still used in education. By far. And I bet you ask any elementary school kid if they knew who Bill Nye is, they absolutely know who he is, and they love watching his videos. So he's succeeded in getting kids to like science and be interested in science and actual careers in science and engineering, which is, when you think about it as a country, it's what we need, people that are interested in these things.
I'm always for more education.
Yeah.
They've deemed that Ryan Gosling and Nick Cage are the same person in the chat room.
No.
Yeah.
No. As the female in this group, I have to say no.
That was the one exception, is that the ladies actually like Ryan Gosling. That was the
exactly.
That was the exception in the chat.
Okay,
yes.
We're going. What were you going to say, Super?
Oh, I was going to say, plus Bill Nye earned his nerd cred by getting a guest spot on The Big Bang Theory. He got to play Sheldon's when Sheldon bribed him into taking him for ice cream. So when he had his battle, Bill Nye the Science Guy versus Professor Proton, that was pretty good. I like that episode of The Big Bang Theory.
All right, so before we say who ends up being our nerd icon, we're going to play a little game. You guys can join in as well, but this one has stakes because it is the season finale of MaliceCast. It's going to be a Who Am I? So we're going to talk about some trivia, and each person's going to put their vote in of who it is, and the two losers at the end will have to either do a shot of something not too tasty or a spoonful of something not too tasty. So what does everybody have?
Actually edible things. Don't worry.
Yes.
I have this disgusting mustard that's just one of the nastiest things you could put in your mouth.
You have a full shot there?
No, this is more of a spoonful. Sorry, only one packet came in the sandwich with dinner.
Okay, I guess we'll give you a pass on that. I guess.
Yeah.
Next time you're gonna do worse. What do you got, Zoro?
Stuff is so gross.
It's barely a punishment, but it is hot sauce.
We'll do a shot. Yeah. And then Beacon, what do you?
I have a mix of hot sauce packets for your. viewing pleasure there.
Delicious. So,
Woo.
So
let's
gross.
get into it. So each one of you will start, since he's
Robust.
closest to my screen, we'll start with Icy Zorro, and then each person will rotate after that. So this one, I'm going to start easy because you guys should all get this one. Is an avid swing dancer.
Are we talking about people on this cast? That would be
Three people. These three people that are choices for Nerd Icon.
Oh,
No, because I was like Nudie
one-
Rudy.
Nope.
yeah. I was like, definitely Nudie Rudy.
Nope.
Let's see. Avid swing dancer. Out of those three, Bill Nye.
Okay, Sarah, Super.
I have no idea. I'd have to go Chris Hardwick.
And who is your choice? Remember, you guys can all you can choose the same or not. So yours.
No, I know.
Google does not come up fast enough.
Hey, none of that.
I admit it. I'm going to go with Hardwick as well, though.
Okay.
I have no idea.
This is
You
definitely not.
Zorro gets first point. Bill Nye is an
Sweet.
avid swing dancer.
Yeah, it's definitely not Hardwick.
Speaking of Nudie Rudy actually was at a club with Bill Nye there swing dancing, and his partner went and danced with Bill Nye. So he said he actually was very, very good at the Lindy.
And then
What was his name?
His
and
partner.
then that partner never went home with and that's how the one got away from Nudie Rudy.
Yeah. Bill Nye.
Nye.
Okay. On to the next one. Was the son of a professional bowler. Super, you go first.
Ridley Scott.
Okay, Beacon. I wasn't gonna do this. It wasn't gonna be easy.
I'm sticking with Hardwick. I have no idea.
Okay, Zorro.
Chris Hardwick's father, Billy Hardwick, was actually the first professional athlete to ever record a commercial for Miller Beer as a professional bowler.
So yes, it was Hardwick.
That was a guess.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, total guess.
No, I had no idea.
On February 28, 2014, was a celebrity guest and interviewer at the White House Student Film Festival. Beacon.
Ridley Scott.
Yeah, I'm going Ridley Scott.
It wouldn't make any sense if it wasn't Ridley Scott.
It was Bill Nye.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, my confidence in that answer just pulled through.
No, I thought it was
Festival,
Ridley
yeah.
Scott too.
Like,
But that's why we threw. That's
Yeah.
why I threw that one in there. I was like, "This is a perfect one."
Very sneaky there.
Received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2011.
I'm gonna go with
your first Zorro.
I'm gonna go with Ridley Scott.
Okay, Super.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Ridley Scott because, as far as I know, Hardwick doesn't have one, and I don't think Bill Nye would get one.
I'm pretty sure Bill Nye already has one. I think it was 2011. I'm gonna go with Bill Nye.
And Super and Zorro got it right. It was Ridley Scott.
Hopefully, I'm convincing at least in my answer.
The logic is good. I just don't think Nye's been around long enough, and Scott started out with Alien back in
Yeah.
70s.
I just,
Yeah, but there's people
I don't
that
know.
really
Do they
don't
give a
know.
lot of scientists stars on the Hollywood Walk
Well,
of Fame?
he's
Not
not.
scientist.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I
so-
mean, he's not just a scientist, but
Started his professional career as a writer-actor on a local sketch comedy show called Almost Live. Super.
Hardwick.
Beacon?
Sure. I'm gonna go with Hardwick as well, since Super and I are tied for the last. I figured we're
Yeah.
voting the same as her.
You're two behind. Zorro.
Oh, I'm two behind. Damn.
You're three behind. It's Bill Nye.
You're three behind.
I'm 3 behind Super. Jeez. I wonder
You guys are, you and Super are tied. So
okay. Good.
it's the two losers have to take the shot.
I didn't even pour mine.
Okay. First appeared on TV in 1991. Beacon, you're first.
First appeared on TV in 1991.
Mm-hmm.
God, his show's got to be older than that. Hardwick.
Okay.
I gotta think Bill Nye's gotta
Zorro?
be before that.
It was Hardwick for MTV, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that would make sense.
And Super?
Yeah, why not? Go Hardwick.
It was Hardwick.
Bill Nye, yeah.
But it wasn't for MTV. He was a guest appearance on because he appeared in other things as an actor before.
Because I remember Bill Nye from the 80s, so.
Yeah.
Bill Nye's show was, I think it was like 95 to 99. 94 to 99.
What's
Yeah.
that?
So
It feels like it was. Damn, I'm old.
we're going to do a couple more here to give a chance for people to catch up. Middle name is Sanford. Super.
Oh, sorry. Can you repeat that one more time?
Middle name is Sanford.
Sanford. None of them have the name Sanford. That's such a stupid name. I'm going with Bill Nye.
Whoa.
Okay. Beacon?
I'm gonna stick with Hardwick.
And Zorro?
I'm really glad I read the wiki on these guys before I even knew we were doing the show.
I didn't tell him what the game was. So.
I was looking up the guys. It's William Sanford Nye.
Yep.
I went with that because I'm like, well, if anyone's going to have a douchey name, it's going to be the guy named William.
Yeah, not the guy named Ridley.
Yeah, not the guy. I figured Ridley Sanford Scott was just a little bit too mean.
Yeah.
So it had to be William. Yeah. It was. I knew it wasn't Christopher Sanford Hardwick. You know.
No.
All of them have a stupid name now. You got Ridley Sanford and Hardwick.
Let's move on. Hosted a weekly series, Wired Science, on PBS. Beacon.
Hardwick.
Zorro.
Hardwick.
And Super.
I'm shaking my head in agreement.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Hardwick. So good. You guys all got one.
That was you should have led with that one. Not like he likes to swing dance.
But you guys would have gotten it.
We should have, because I think Nudie Rudy actually told us that story in the chat room.
And he sent us the picture in the chat room. So
I pay attention to Nudie Rudy. Come on.
kept applying to be a NASA astronaut, but was always turned down. Zorro.
I'm gonna go Ridley Scott.
Okay, Super.
No, I'm gonna go Bill Nye.
Okay, and Beacon.
I'll go with Ridley Scott as well.
It was Bill Nye.
Ha! Eat it. Sorry.
Zorro, what are you doing?
Mechanical engineering had that, affinity.
And starting with you, Super, we're gonna go. Has won 2 Emmy Awards.
He has won 2. It's a Hardwick.
And Beacon.
Sure. I'll go with Hardwick too.
And he's just copying all of us.
It's Hardwick for At Midnight.
Yeah.
It is Ridley Scott.
What?
Is it really? Did Hardwick
As
only
producer.
win 1 Emmy?
Yeah, as producer.
Okay. So Hardwick only won 1. All right.
So
because I do remember that, because I remember he was shocked as heck that he won that Emmy.
And made a guest appearance on Boy Meets World, Zorro.
That was Hardwick, because he looked exactly like the brother with the hair drapes.
Beacon.
I don't know. You should trust Zorro again. I'm gonna trust Zorro again, and yeah, I agree.
and Super.
I actually do remember that episode, and it was, I think it was like a. I don't remember what he was doing, but he was hosting Singled Out, like a Singled Out or a game show or something like that. Yeah, and Eric was on the show, and the two of them were just going at it.
Yeah, and they both had the 90s center part hair.
Yes. I loved Boy Meets World. That show was my jam.
Well, I have one more, but I'm not going to go to it because we already have there's no way of feeding Zorro on this. So, so the two that will have to take punishments are going to be Beacon and Super Hoovian. So we'll let Beacon take his first.
I did say at the beginning of the show this was going to happen either way. So
okay,
I did. If you remember, you can tell the fans.
I do.
Like,
I do.
I did say
He said I'm drinking this one way or another.
Well, we'll all be quiet.
Why did I say it? Because I'm not going to waste good hot sauce.
Ugh. I need scissors.
Oh, it's thick. Oh, no.
That's pretty gnarly, dude.
Phrasing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you know, Beacon? Yeah.
Get your mustard packet out. Yeah. Oh, God.
Oh, that stuff is so gross. I hate it. Who invented that mustard? They should be shot on sight and hung up for war crimes.
And there you have it, folks. A punishment to end the season finale. So,
Man, I'm glad I'm good at trivia.
if you guys like these games, let us know, and we will in the comments below, and we will do them some more on future podcasts. So we had the three choices. We put it to vote to people out on Twitter. 154 votes came back. Ridley Scott got 16%. Chris Hardwick got 18%, and Bill Nye had 70% for who should be our next nerd icon. So our nerd icon for November is Mr. Bill Nye. Thank you for doing what you've done to at least bring science to the eyes of younger generations that have themselves stepped into science world and stuff. So that is it for our show. Yeah, into the science world. Yeah, that is it for our show. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for participating in all of our casts. If you are a subscriber, once again, look above. Your name will be there, scrolling above our heads. Thank you so much for supporting us and helping us with this little endeavor of love towards geeks and nerds. We greatly, greatly appreciate everyone that has tuned in, commented, or chatted with us. So we will be back on January 5th for MaliceCast. We're not going away completely. There will be TV talks going on. So we still have The Walking Dead on Mondays. We still have Supernatural on Thursdays. Come back, see our faces, and talk with us about that stuff. We'll probably have some CW wrap-ups that'll come up and some Stranger Things podcasts coming because there's people that want to get on and talk about that. So definitely join us for that. While this is going on, make sure that you check out malice-corp.com. That's our website. Articles will be coming from everybody that you see here on the panel, everybody that you've seen in the past on the panel, including our new contributor Ken that's in the chat. We'll be getting stuff coming out from Cricket as well, which you know who you are in the chat. So yeah, so let's talk about where we can follow everybody. If you want to follow this cast, you can follow them on Twitter at MaliceCast, and you can follow the entire website and everybody at Malice Corp on Twitter. Where can we follow you, Mr. Zorro?
I am at Icy Zorro on both Twitter and Instagram. Been doing some winemaking stuff lately. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Super. Where can we follow you?
Follow me on Twitter at SuperHoovyandNut. It's a good time. I'm always chatting on there. Today it was, God, I don't even know what we were talking about. Oh, we were mixing Star Wars and Supernatural. And yes, the two meet. And yes, it makes sense.
And she's just thinking about mustard right now. That's why her brain's...
God, it's so gross. But no.
Hashtag mustard.
Hashtag mustard. Hashtag, oh my God. Hashtag, I want to vomit.
Hashtag
and
blessed.
not from, yeah, and not from drinking water, but...
Leave in the comments below what you want to see people take as punishments in later casts for shots and stuff. Beacon, where can we follow you?
Hashtag I need a taco. Like, with a taco. Whew.
I like tacos.
A little warm. It's delicious. You can follow me at Beacon_MaliceCorp on Twitter.
And you can follow our wonderful producer that makes us look somewhat redeemable talking to you guys on screen at Jack_Malice. He's the one that helped put all this together. So thank you once again to him for letting us be able to do this. You can follow me on Twitter at Mest_Malice Corp or on Instagram at Mest5150. That's where all the notifications for the videos, thumbnails go on there. They also go for the Malice Corp's Instagram, which is at Malice_Corp. But yeah, if you really want to know when we're doing stuff live and when we're coming back, the best way to do that, hit that subscribe button. Please hit that subscribe button. We definitely appreciate it. And we want to see your name joining these other names that are scrolling above our heads and say thank you to you. Thank you once again for this season. And we appreciate you and keep nerding on.
Stay nerdy out there.
Peace.
Carry on.